Now the pieces fall into place. The Grey Warden comes, the instrument of the Father. Oh, and the Father, he is but a shadow. Oh, how my children protect me. How they love me.
I have told you many times, Mother. I am not the Father. I am simply the Architect.
It does not change what you are. You took away that beautiful music. Left us with nothing.
It was a mistake to free you. It has left you with madness. I am truly sorry.
Even if she were not mad at the mother, it would still be disgusting. One or two, by the way, I'm considering. I don't know why. It's not an important decision, but everything I do with Nathan now just feels on such shallow ground. I don't know, Nathan's maybe a bit tetchy at the moment. I think he's going to go a little bit harder. What's done is done. Mother's a horror and she needs to die.
Ah, but perhaps the Warden would like to hear how it was that the Father began the Blight. You want the source of the Archdemon? The one who brought all our kind to the surface? Here he is!
I was correct. All of these creatures are irredeemable fiends.
Ah, there it is then. Unfortunate. I did find the old god Athemiel, but I did not wish another blight. I attempted my joining ritual. My hope was that this would free all Darkspawn, unravel the curse from its source. Alas, I was unlucky.
You sought out? Even though what you were, you went to find an archdemon? You started it? Do you even think about the repercussions of your actions?
Is it not the way of the Grey Wardens to do what must be done, in the name of combating the Blight? The Blight is a menace, both for your people and for mine. To end it requires sacrifice and risk.
And how lonely the Father was. How terrible to be the outcast, the outsider. He claims he wishes the Darkspawn to be free, but what he truly wants is to correct them.
However you feel about what I have done, the Mother is mad. She cannot be allowed to...
Begone, Shadow! You cannot harm Mother any more than you already have. And now the hero is alone. Oh. The Mother knows your ways. You will not let her be, no, not after what she's done. So it must end. It all must come crashing down! Perhaps we will hear the song again when we die. Oh, let it come. Let it come.
Whoa. Yeah, she's mega gross. Prioritize, I guess? Let's see, hang on. Oh, look, there you are. Where's the targeted area, Architects? It's everywhere. Great, thanks for that. No, Valana. Oh, fuck. She's gonna go down. No, don't go down. Don't go down. That was inconvenient. Just go.
It's a good day.
Come on. Okay, she's marginally safer and also at mana somehow. Well, that fucking spell backfired, didn't it? And Nathan's gone down as well. Well, we definitely can't have that. Where is Nathan's body? It's over there. Okay, Sigrun, let's go there for now. Flicker, if you don't mind. Backstab a tentacle. Enjoy. Be careful and stay close to Nathan. Justice. Fighting the mother's probably a good call for you. God, fuck. Do you want to just fuck it, Res Nathan? Yes. We are severely lacking damage there. Without him. Heal everybody. Oh, don't do that. 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 He's down. He's not down, but he is, however, covered in bees. And Sigrun has tons of health, but can also take a health potus. A health potus. And take that. Take this. Yeah, there you go. Get regeneration on Nathan. Of all people, probably keeping him up as the best. Nathan, I need you with your distance. We gotta take down the mother. It's she who's causing all this. I doubt taking any more of these will be. Whoops. All I'm doing is just dragging them over to Volana.
On your guard, wretch.
Okay. How's everything else doing? I think you gotta turn your possession off. Oh, look. Grubbins. Oh, there's too much here. Perhaps this is her second form. Aegis Poultice. Both of you need to poultice up. No, oh fuck. That's less than ideal. Get away from there, get away from there. Justice is right in there and he goes down. That's unfortunate. It was an unfortunate overwhelm which led to that. She's covered in bees as well now. Just get lesser down you, and aside from that, what else can we do? I think I want to make them sleep, but I can't. How's she doing in there? The Inferno is scorching her. Revival will not be ready for a little while. So you're gonna bunch up with Nathan. If Alana gets overwhelmed, then she's pretty much done. Okay, how are we doing? Your mana's low, but your health is otherwise okay. Come on, scorch him. Get a health pulse down you. Nathan, I need you turning around, and I need you to shave the grubs off of Volana. Okay, what else we got? Sigrun. You did just do that, right?
No chance at all.
Maybe silence or something? There we go. Actually, no, grip heal is not necessary at the moment. How's she doing? She's about down to half health. A little fireball in her direction. More bees. Bees!
Yes.
Okay, more grubs again. I think we need to just get minions that keep getting things down. Inferno is pretty close to recharging. Having another one of those on hand will be good. Get lesser down you. God, this is requiring so much management. Nathan, can't help but notice you're going rather slow there. Rapid aim is on that bow, right? Yeah, it is. Maybe it's just frame rate thing, I don't know. Shit, they're everywhere. So many. Wow, like half of them just resisted that. Nathan. Make it rain. You don't have second wind, do you? Maybe your hardship for now? There you go, Nathan. Now, revival's almost done too, but I think I want to use this time to get another Inferno up there. Do it. Don't let her die. There you go. Valana, gotta get a group heal. Just pelt her. And you know what? Fucking dispel magic on yourself. Get rid of those bees. Can't believe I didn't think of that before. Is bringing. Okay. So you're gonna use your bowl. Okay, next. Valana step back. I thought we were maybe out of the woods a bit more than we actually were. Heal yourself. As soon as that Inferno ends, I'm bringing Justice back up. Valana, what are you doing? Sigrun, you too.
Ready and waiting.
Yes, okay, now.
My magic is at your command.
Bleeding better be. Oh, I didn't need that. There we go. There you go. Die, you thing. Ah, God. Me too, Nathan. Looking back on her, expecting her to come back. Okay, after the death of the mother, the remaining Darkspawn forces scattered and fled back into the deep roads. The raids of Amaranthine came to an abrupt end. Okay. Do I need to click through this? I forget. Is this the epilogue? Because if it is, this ending surprises me. I thought we had some unfinished business here. Well, I guess we just click. The architect apparently kept his word, gathering his remaining disciples to follow the rest of their kind back underground. Those Grey Wardens in other nations were appalled to hear of the architect's continued existence, but were unable to track him down despite years of effort. Yeah, that seems like the end. Some within the Order have claimed that the architect's survival guarantees another blight. And yet the deep roads have lately been quieter than any can recall. Most have resignedly decided that it is now in the Maker's hands. Word of the Grey Warden's heroic salvation of Amaranthine spread like wildfire. When the magnitude of the losses at Vigil's Keep came to light, sympathy drove generous donations from all over Ferelden into the region's coffers. Amaranthine was restored to her former glory within a year. Vigil's Keep in 5. Okay. People always die. Because of the Warden's support for law and order in Amaranthine, Constable Aiden and his men were able to distribute the smugglers' goods to the battered survivors in the grueling days that followed the Darkspawn defeat. Hey. The Darkspawn messenger, set free after joining the Wardens in the Battle of Amaranthine, struck out on his own. The city soon buzzed with stories of a cloaked but lisping figure who aided travellers in danger. At the same time, reports of isolated cases of the Darkspawn disease emerged. No one connected the two. The Arling's peasants suffered greatly during the war, and suffered yet worse in the years that followed. Success at the first riot at Vigil's Keep emboldened them, and thus other uprisings followed, often put down with brutality. Yeah, well. Perhaps that was something, but then again, I think it was the right response at the time. Putting down more violent peasant uprisings more brutally seems like the right decision, because it would have just been what I did at the beginning. Anyway, so. Although the war devastated many farms in the Arling, all agreed the loss would have been greater without soldiers for protection. The farm holders developed a certain reverence for the Warden Commander, as well as an ongoing reliance on the Grey Wardens for order and protection. Dirk, one of the pranksters behind the Blight Orphans scam, was fortunate enough to survive the Battle of Amaranthine. The unconditional generosity of the Blight Orphans' mysterious benefactor inspired him to establish a legitimate charity dedicated to children orphaned in the attack. His sweetheart, Melise, eventually bore him 2 rascals. I've never met Dirk. I think wasn't there a dagger called Dirk? I don't know. Vigil's keep stood alone against a horde of Darkspawn. The Mother's forces outnumbered the Vigil's defenders many times over. But the sturdy dwarven walls proved impervious to any boulder an ogre could throw. The Vigil's soldiers, clad in silverite, each felled a dozen Darkspawn before they died. The Vigil held 1 night, then 2, then a week, and eventually the attacking horde broke upon her walls. The keep developed an almost mythic reputation, the few survivors immortalized in song and legend. Peace allowed the Wardens to replenish their numbers. Soon Vigil's keep bore a capable army, with Wardens at its core. From their ranks emerged new heroes to challenge threats to Amaranthine and all of Ferelden. Through taxes and levies, the Vigil was rebuilt. Years later, Voldric Glavanac stood on the battlements and pronounced that the defences were acceptable. He would never speak more highly of any human engineering. Dark whispers of conspiracy against the Wardens fell silent after a rash of accidents and disappearances culminated in the apparent suicide of Ban Esmerel. The nobles of Amaranthine remained dutiful. Some even suggest they were cowed into submission. Among the many legends that the Vigil spawned was one of the great heroes of the next age, a sheep herder turned soldier by the name of Sir Alec the Valiant, who eventually founded an order of knights that lasted 1,000 years. Holy fuck. And it started with a chest. Dworkin Glavanac further refined his lyrium stand explosive, but left the Warden's employ after Kunari mercenaries tried to assassinate him. Although the Dwarven Bombardier took his secrets with him, the learned say he left clues for others to follow in his footsteps. Hey, he became a quest NPC. Awesome. Good for him. The Vigil's soldiers, wearing the distinctive silverite armour that Master Wade crafted, came to be known as the Silver Order. Under the tutelage of the Wardens, the Silver Order developed into one of Ferelden's most revered military forces, a lasting memory of the Vigil's famous commander. With Valana and the Architects gone from the region, the Pilgrim's Path began to see traffic again. The massacre of the militiamen and the merchants, however, led to hostilities between the neighbouring human settlements and any Dalish clans that passed by. Yeah. Interesting. One human villager soon kidnapped and murdered a Dalish child. The clans reacted by giving the Wending Wood a wide berth, but both sides know that at some point the elves will return for revenge. A few years after Calharol was emptied of Darkspawn, Orzammar began sending expeditions to rediscover the knowledge of smithing that has been lost within the Tig. Eventually, House Helmi decided that Calharol was too important to be abandoned, and at tremendous cost of Dwarven lives, they cleared the tunnels leading to Calharol of all Darkspawn. Making the road between Orzammar and the fortress safe again, Calharol was reclaimed for Orzammar, once and for all. As promised, Voldric and Dworkin presented Orzammar's Shaperite with the stone marker that told of how Calharol's castles had taken up arms against the Darkspawn. The commander of the Grey was invited to Orzammar as a guest of honour at a feast commemorating the defenders of Calharol. The Shaper read the names of the castlists off the marker, then presided over a ceremony to return them to the stone as befitted warriors of their stature. In time, the Arling began to forget the tales of apparitions in the Black Marsh, and ever so slowly settlers drifted into the region. Scholars said the veil was still thin and thus the area was still dangerous, but the people only cared that there were no longer frightened whispers in the shadows. Hey, did make it better. The village was slowly rebuilt. Twice the Baroness's mansion was rebuilt and occupied, once by a wealthy merchant and another time by an Orlesian mage. Both died mysteriously. Afterwards, the mansion was torn down completely and the site left untouched. The survivors of the siege at Vigil's Keep hailed Anders and his magic for holding back hundreds of the assaulting Darkspawn. In the ensuing victory celebration, the men dragged the mage to the fire to engage him in a drinking contest. Anders lost. Anders remained with the Grey Wardens a few years longer, training the Order's next generation of mages. But when the Circle Tower called on him to deliver a lecture on the nature of the Architect, much to the Templars' dismay, Anders told the commander of the Grey that his time with the Wardens was over. And yet, not 2 months later, Anders returned to the Order. Ever after, the Wardens were his home and his lasting companions. That's nice. Volana never saw her clan again, but neither did she forsake her Dalish culture, nor her sharp tongue, nor her quick temper. Her friendship with the Warden Commander changed her opinions of humankind significantly. Shortly after the Mother's defeat, Darkspawn stragglers who still remained on the surface attacked a human village. Volana was the only warden nearby and defended the village single-handedly. She did not sneer once. Good for her. Very good for her. Good for you, Volana. Years later, on an expedition in the Deep Roads, Volana took off on her own. After saying she had seen Sarani in the shadows, the other wardens searched for her, but she was truly gone. That's a shame. Well, no, actually, maybe that's not a shame. Maybe she reunited with Sarani. She didn't disappear into the known reaches. She just found her sister again. Spent time with the architect. Nathaniel managed to survive the Battle of Vigil's Keep. Good. This is the bit that I cared about, which was going suspiciously unmentioned beforehand. Who survived? Leading a spirited defence in the last minutes to protect his family home. That ferocity impressed many of his fellow soldiers, who hoisted him onto their shoulders and paraded him across the courtyard when the battle was done. Over the next years, Nathaniel dedicated himself to the Order and to clearing the blemishes on his family's name. After saving Terran Fergus Kuzland from a bandit attack, a portion of Amaranthine was returned to the house. Really? Oh, that's cool. That's very cool, actually. Nathaniel passed the holding to Delilah's son. And when a new castle was eventually built there, a statue of Nathaniel was erected in his courtyard. Nice. Delilah. His sister, yeah. Okay. Justice served the Grey Wardens for many years, remaining in touch with Aura, the widow of Kristoff. She grew uncomfortable with the body's decay, however, and the day she told Justice she could see him no longer was the day he left the Order. Justice wished his comrades well, then Kristoff's body slumped to the ground, dead. Aura finally had a body to mourn. If the spirit itself remains alive, it has not shown itself. Justice. Good luck to you, friend, wherever you went. You're a unique being. I wish you nothing but the best. With the mother dead, Sigrun seemed to lose her purpose. She withdrew from her friends in the Order and spoke to them less and less each day. One morning, Sigrun was simply absent, her bed made and her trunk emptied. A young recruit who had been up in the night said she had left for her calling, gone to finish what she started in Calharol. At Vigil's Keep, Oghren rallied a last-minute defence of the gate, taking on 2 ogres simultaneously to allow others time to regain the courtyard. He eventually passed out from blood loss, and when he awoke weeks later, nobody was more surprised than he to discover he had been credited as a hero. Good for you, Oghren. Oghren continued to regale young warden recruits with tales of his prowess in both battle and bed. His drinking games prompted at least one recruit to declare that she'd rather ever attempt the joining than lift another mug. Felsi returned to Vigil's Keep several times to see Oghren, usually bringing their toddler as well. Ogren's inability to act seriously wore on her, however, and her visits dwindled, then stopped altogether. If Oghren missed her, or his child, he never showed it. As for the saviour of Ferelden, he did not remain as commander of the Grave for long. The Darkspawn were no longer a real concern, the blight well and truly over. It was time for him to move on. Some claim the commander reunited with the red-haired bard known as Liliana, and that they adventure together still. The pair were spotted together in Denerim a year after the Blight's end. No matter the truth, the commander never did return to Vigil's Keep. Interesting. Interesting. There you have it. Okay, cool. Awesome. Credits, everybody. I will be back with you when they're over. Just, say some words at you. we go. God, I really love Dragon Age Origins. I really, really do. I was thinking about it there, that music at the end of the credits, like it's something about it, like, essentially all I do, like during those credit scenes is I just kind of sit here and I may or may not play a YouTube video every now and then, like something 2 minutes long, just to keep myself like sharp or entertained or not bored, I suppose you could say. It's a terrible thing to say because the credits, alright, okay, credits, it's important to let the credits have their time because it's important to acknowledge everybody who does. That's why I leave them in. It doesn't change the fact that looking at a long list of people out of context of knowing that person itself is still a little bit boring. Still. All I do is like, I just sit here in silence, just thinking about stuff, thinking about the game. And the artwork, like, for the record, the credit scene there are really cool because there's some really nice artwork behind there and some really, really nice music to listen to in that one in particular. It's just very peaceful and very, like, very fantasy music, like definitive fantasy dragon sword style magical spellcasting music. It's so indicative of everything that Dragon Age Origins is. And so I was kind of letting the music just sort of wash over me there, and it just occurred to me that stepping into Dragon Age Origins, which again, like, I mean, Dragon Age Awakening, that wasn't a huge campaign, but it was still pretty lengthy, but like maybe, I don't know, 60, 70 episodes or something. Maybe 70 is probably a pretty good estimate. And Dragon Age Origins before that's like 200 episodes. Again, like, I'll say it, and I said at the end of Dragon Age Origins, this game has been a part of my life for a long, long time, and stepping into it just kind of feels like stepping into a warm bath. Like, it's a world I'm very much familiar with at this point. I don't know everything about it, but there's just a familiarity about it, which seems to just be accentuated by that music during the credits. And now that Dragon Age Awakening is over, and I've only got 2 more DLCs to go, I don't really... It's going to be weird when I finish it. It's going to be very strange. But I suppose I'll talk about that a bit more of the time. In the meantime, that was Dragon Age Awakening. Dragon Age Awakening. Don't know why I did that. Pretty useless. Yeah, so that was really, really good. I enjoy that. I'm trying to say where to start. I mean, I suppose I could start with like the story stuff, like the epilogues. It was cool to see all that stuff. I think most of the stuff that I wanted to work out, like the decisions that I made, seemed to work out for the best. Putting time into the keep's defenses seemed to make it hold, and not everybody died. I do wonder if there was a chance that your old companions could die if you left the keep not properly defended. Staying around to save Amaranthine seemed to have a really good knock-on effect for the way that the wardens were viewed. Kal Haral was cleared. People can go back into the Black Marsh. I think most things worked out there. Except for the peasant uprisings, but, you know, I'm not really sure how, like, at what point I could have avoided that. Probably by just giving them more food or allocating them more soldiers or something. Who knows? Regardless, what kind of interested me most there, I mean, the companion stuff was all really interesting, but I think I commented on at the time, was what Nathan chose to do after all this. Like, when when the Blight was over at the end of Dragon Age Origins, I made a point to say Nathan finds his calling as a Grey Warden and would have to be a Grey Warden in peacetime. And then Awakening came up, and there was this kind of new thing to fight this, not exactly a potential Blight, but still something very much to do with the Blight, and with the Architect working his machinations down below, who knows if there will ever be a Blight again. So compared with the end of the Blight, where Nathan still wanted to go do his duty, maybe now he feels like now's a time to just find some other purpose in life. Who knows? I honestly don't. I'm not entirely sure, like, it's a bit strange for the player to be given the choice of what to do at the end of Dragon Age Origins, like where to put your Grey Warden character, what to do with them. Especially since they always wind up as the commander of the Grey in Dragon Age Awakening anyway. And then to not give them a choice at the end of Dragon Age Awakening. Just to say, he went off with his lady love. I'm very pleased that Nathan was reunited with Liliana, who, as I mentioned, I do like. So I'm very happy for him in that perspective. But hey, it's canon, so I'm just gonna I'm going to roll with it, as it were. And so maybe, I don't know, maybe Nathan's sense of duty feels a little bit spent at this point. Maybe he's getting a bit older. Maybe he's starting to feel like maybe there's room for me to take stuff for myself. Because I mean, like, back in the day, he went into the Grey Wardens kind of to hide. Like, yeah, because I talked about this in Dragon Age Origins at the end of that as well, but he found his calling there, and like he knew it was really important, but also it provided a really kind of like convenient thing to take his mind off the tragedy that he suffered. And he's been doing it ever since. He has been focusing on his duty, and now that there isn't so much to do, he went back to Liliana, he adventured and travelled with her, I guess. Maybe started being a little bit selfish. No, I'm not saying that a little bit more selfish. I don't want to say that like a negative way, but there's no crime in like doing stuff for yourself, especially if you've already given so much. You know, take that with a pinch of salt. You know, don't don't embezzle from your work because you feel like they're not paying you enough or something like that. That's not what I mean. I just mean, like, you know, in some situations, people deserve to make themselves happy as well as just other people. So it's interesting that Nathan's taken some time to do that. I don't know if this is me now said goodbye to Nathan. I don't think it is. Let me just check here. Installed content. So I've got the Golems of... Wait, where is it? I've got this. Lost things forgotten to... Yeah, import your character from Dragon Age Awakening. So it doesn't look like I've said goodbye to Nathan permanently, which is good, because I will miss him when he goes permanently, which he will do eventually. But maybe he'll be a bit different. Maybe I'll play him a little bit differently in later things. Or maybe he'll rediscover that sense of, like, duty which comes. It depends on the situation, really. I'm kind of looking forward to finding out. Yeah, it's interesting. And so that was the end of Dragon Age Awakening there, which I will admit, I for some reason, going right into the epilogues when it did, I wasn't exactly prepared for it to happen exactly then. It feels like the epilogue tied up a lot of things which maybe should have been at least partially tied up in a cutscene after the final battle. Because we had that in Dragon Age Origins. Dragon Age Origins recognised the need to have a downtime scene after the final battle to let you know that life does go on. The epilogues are fine and everything like that, but they're not as emotive as actual stuff would be. So the ending, as a result, maybe felt a little bit rushed, and also possibly because, I mean, thinking about it, of course the mother was going to be the final bad guy, but I wasn't always viewing her as the BBEG, if you like, or the big bad end guy, to talk about tabletop RPG terms. I just viewed her as, like, twisted and in pain and family orientated. And it just feels like there was more stuff to uncover. I feel like I didn't spend as much time as I would have liked with some of my companions, Sigrun and Justice in particular. Volana appeared to, like, her line of, her arc of not being so racist anymore appeared to kind of clear up towards the end there, but I was expecting more of a resolution. Again, in-game, not just the epilogue. Even though she does appear to have, like, gotten that out of her, which is good. The interesting thing about Volana is that a lot of her, like, oh, maybe I'm wrong about this, came from randomly generated conversations with, like, other party members. Like Justice, for example. Justice was the one that made Volana think, oh, you may be right. Maybe I'm just a big racist. And it wasn't a conversation with us, which is kind of what you would expect it to be, because we are the main character and the story revolves around us. And Sigrun, yeah, I didn't get to spend too much time with her. Justice, I feel like we spent a decent amount of time with Justice. Like, we got, like, a feel for the character. However, I did like having him around, and I will miss him since he has gone. Especially since it seems that since Nathan never went back to Vigil's Keep, maybe he never saw any of those guys again. There needs to be a Commander of the Grey, though. I wonder who took it over. I'm not entirely sure that just off the bat I would trust any of them to take it over just right from the go. And maybe that's the thing, maybe I've decided to just wash my hands of it. I don't know. But aside from the ending feeling just a little bit rushed and a little bit like several things were left hanging, that was a really good like extended campaign. Like I like that it immerses in a new area. It didn't just stick us back in the old places with the same feels and everything like that. It was a whole new area with a linked story about Darkspawn, which was really, really interesting. Very, very intriguing throughout. The answers for which at the end were, you know, like they made sense. The answers fell together pretty well. Although most of the answers came with a conversation with the architect, which is a little bit tell don't show, which is unfortunate. But then again, I can't think off the top of my head how they could have done it differently, honestly. And the architect was a cool character. Mother was a very cool villainous character. But I don't feel as if the Mother was being directly antagonistic to me any more than other Darkspawn were. Which I suppose is the reason they had these out-of-character cutscenes in in between the Black Marsh and things like that, because otherwise just having her there at the end would have felt a little bit out of place. Like we've never seen or encountered this person before, and yet she's the final boss. Like it would have been cool to see her machinations like elsewhere, her fingers in other pies, as opposed to just being confused for the whole thing about which faction of Darkspawn is which, and feeling motivated to kill each of them equally. And then at the very end it's like, oh switch, not kill Architect, kill Mother. And there's other stuff as well, like Utha, that dwarf. Nothing was really much said about her. There was the Seeker and things like that, who the Architect mentioned back when. I guess, I don't know, it just feels like the threads were tied together a little bit faster than I thought they would be. And some things which could have been subplots, or not necessarily side missions, but at least acknowledged, were just not. But I still really enjoyed it. That's basically my one critique of the story. And I think overall, my critique of Dragon Age Awakening was that its side plot stuff was, I think in general less interesting than the main plot, which I think is how it's meant to be, but yeah, I felt like I was able to get distracted less because the side stuff was a bit more wham bam done, and a lot of the side stuff, I meant like the noble killing mission, Noble Uprising I think it was, mission in particular, seemed kind of haphazard and rushed, whereas the main stuff was where the action and where the good like scenes and shit, that's where that was at. Which I suppose that the nature of a campaign like this is fine, actually. So yeah, that was really good. Aside from that, I don't really think I have much else to say about Dragon Age Awakening, which wasn't already said about Dragon Age Origins. It was shorter, which allows me to kind of have a more narrower look at it on it as a whole. But it was a cool situation to put your character into, your warden, or a new warden, if you had your character make the ultimate sacrifice. The really interesting mainline with some really interesting characters, which unfortunately didn't end as well as it maybe could have, but it's just a minor thing. Endings are really hard to pull off well anyway. So we'll go on. We're now more than halfway through the DLC, and once I'm done with the other two campaigns, both of which I think I'm still playing as Nathan. I think anyway. Then that'll be it for Dragon Age Origins, and I don't even know how many episodes will be left. Guess we'll just find out. In the meantime though, thank you very much for watching everybody. And I will see you in the next episode.